What'd y'all think about the wrap on the car as you approached it?
Everything was great.
Did y'all see that on the front of the car? It actually just got the
Bro, oh my goodness, I can't believe they just did this. Look at that map.
This really does look good. I mean, the fit and the finish is super.
The new wrap?
Yeah, why don't you check out that wrap when you get out of the car and take a look at the...
Oh man, it's amazing, man.
Cool, right?
Oh yeah, oh most definitely, man. Look at this. Ooh!
Tell them to hold a second before getting in.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Did you notice the little, if you get like super close, we have our entire fleet like etched in there. Can you see it?
Yes. Oh, look at that. Wow. Yeah. All lined up. Wow, I didn't even notice that until you pointed that out.
Yeah.
That is really something.
It's like
Oh
blueprint.
man, I didn't even know that, man.
Yeah.
That's even cooler. Oh man, this stuff is neat, man. Wow.
Are you doing a ride along?
Later on,
Nice,
yeah,
nice.
probably think like with the wide body kit, yo, this is crazy. I can't even believe they got this out there right now. I mean, geez, extreme experience. It's dope, man. It's dope.
You see the stripes with the XX in the front?
Yeah,
too?
man. Dang, I mean, real racing, bro. Real racing. And look at the two-tone on that. Like, I'm talking about going all the way to the back. Check the spoiler out. Literally, check the spoiler out, man. Two-tony. Got extreme. I think I should pay attention to that. If you can hear me over the exhaust, pay attention to that. Extreme experience. Get into it with them, man. Go. Yeah.
I'll tell you, whoever put this together really did a job. Sometimes less is more, and this really looks good, especially when you get here. The different contrasting, you can see it better. And then you get curious and you look harder, you know, and then you really get to appreciate that. Well, if they did this under a time crunch, they really did a good job. Wow.
Yeah, I agree.
Mercy.
Hey, I'm CT, art director here at Xtreme Xperience. So this time last year, just like all businesses in America, we were hit really hard by the pandemic. And we created the Keep Calm and Drive On campaign to really pull us out of the trench that we found ourselves in. And during that whole period, from marketing to operations to customer service, we were just finding a new depth to our operational ability, to our character, personally and professionally. So we looked at this year and we wanted to create a new, fresh vision for Xtreme Xperience. What that is yet to be defined, and we're defining it right now by what we're doing at track and in the back office. So as art director, what I wanted to do with the brand and the direction I wanted to take it in was really just mirror the professionalism that I would see at track. Clean lines, bold color, refined presentation. It all adds up and ladders up and creates a through line in everything that we're doing aesthetically for Xtreme Xperience. Which leads me into these lead cars. The design on these lead cars you will see carry through multiple pieces throughout the entire event and throughout our social presence and our website. So I want to bring everything that we're doing with signage and flyers and merchandise into the lead cars as well. I wanted to create a holistic family of items that create a very consistent look and feel and tone. The difference with the lead cars is that you're working with a three-dimensional environment. The signage and the banners and the merchandise, yes, those are real, tangible, three-dimensional things, but they act as flat canvases. So that is what made the lead car a special challenge. The Chargers especially have dramatic lines, dramatic curves, and you have to accommodate for that with your design. So we chose to use satin for the base and matte for all of the decals. When we're looking at all the other supercars that are in the fleet, it's so flashy, and we have a very high skittle effect. Different colors, lots of gloss all over the place. It's very impressive, it's very attractive. But I wanted to go in the opposite, because these lead cars are not part of the supercar fleet. These are our signature on the racetrack. Not Ferraris, not Lamborghinis. Yes, they're Dodge Chargers, but they take on the Xtreme Xperience tone. So picking satin was partly an experiment and also just effort to really highlight those dramatic curves. Working around all of the dramatic curves of the Charger was one of the biggest challenges of the whole project. You know, I would take my reference photos, I would take my measurements, and I would just see how much of an angle change I would have to deal with all over the body of the car. I knew that if anything, the graphics would have to work around those shapes and forms, but I could use the satin base to highlight those shapes and curves in a way that the graphics themselves couldn't. For example, I have these white and orange lines going through the back end of the car, completely straight. Well, there's a huge tire hub there, and the wheels go right through it. So it was really an experiment and a bit of hypothesis, really. I wanted those lines to carry all the way through as much of the body of the car as possible. And in order to do that, I couldn't bring it all the way to the front, right? And I couldn't bring it all the way to the back end of the front tire either. So again, it was just back and forth, a lot of give and take, a lot of measurements, a lot of experimentation. Including the elements of the wrap that I have in here and bringing them all the way around to the back was a challenge, right? Because eventually the left side and the right side are gonna wanna meet in the back. So how do you alleviate that? How do you break that up? Well, you could create one seamless texture that goes all the way around and covers the entire back end, and that could have been that checker flag. But you know, through working on it, it just was clear that that was too much. And when I introduced these gradients, it was in effect to lighten up the meeting of those two sides on the back. It's right in the center here that the left and the right side meet, but because they're gradiented all into the same black as the base, you can't see that line there. It's seamless. The chevrons have always been something I've used here at Xtreme Xperience. They've always been an element that I've used to convey momentum, going forward, speed, and that was the idea with these too. When these things are going 80, 90 miles per hour, I want to see that jutting through, just cutting through the environment. On the very back end here, right by the spoiler, on either side we have our hashtag Xtreme Xperience, just as a friendly reminder. And then very close to it, right above the back wheel, we have our secondary logo, which is new to Xtreme Xperience this year. It acts as more of a badge that we can use on t-shirts, patches, stickers. And it was really born from the Keep Calm and Drive On campaign. And since so many of those learnings and so many of those principles have stuck with us since this time last year, it's become a big part of the company. It's become a big cornerstone of who we are. So the secondary logo is in effect remembrance of that, and roping it back into our not just 2020 presence, but from 2020 and beyond. The thing that I like so much about this wrap is the orange on the black. Orange and black have always been Xtreme Xperience's colors. Orange has always been used heaviest in the past. And so it's just bringing it back. It's just creating a touch of color. I think it's so much more effective. Have a reserved presentation. Yes, these wraps are decidedly reserved. They are simple. So when the orange is just like, you know, treated as little accents, when you see it driving down on the highway or the racetrack, it's really going to leave an impression on you. And that orange jumps out more than it would if the entire car was orange. These hark back to just classic Dodge Charger specifically stripes, you know, really big with that audience. And so I think that if we have 8 new Chargers, we are Xtreme Xperience, we know these things like the back of our hands. It'd be a shame if we didn't lean into the culture behind them as well. So the initial design actually had the lines and the checkers carrying all the way through the back end, wrapping all the way around.
Full opacity.
Full opacity,
yeah.
Right? But you know, once we stepped back and we were looking at this thing, thinking of where we wanted it to be and what kind of presence we wanted it to bring, my number one goal was to make it mean in the front and branded in the back. And once it became branded in the back, then it was just a little too heavy. So roping in the gradients brings the back end back to the black that the front end is dominant in and ties the whole thing together. It's basically, I treat these heavy, harsh blacks as a bookend to the start and the end of this car. Yeah, so there's actually a couple things in the design that call back to the last wrapped lead cars that we had, which were Chevy SS's. And just like the angular lines running through the side of the car and the front lip being highlighted, those are just small little callbacks to what came before. Yeah, if you're at track and you go very close to the car, you will see on the black there is a very, very, well, I almost don't want to give them that Easter egg. I just kind of want to hint at it, right?
Yeah. There's subtle Easter eggs, we can say.
Yeah. There's it. I won't spoil anything now. I'll keep it for you know, at track surprises. But if you get very close to the front end of the car, you'll see some little Easter eggs within the base print. It was a huge opportunity, something I took very seriously, something that I'm just so grateful to have done. And just to see it jump from the screen, well, just to see it jump from, you know, paper and pencil to a screen to printed vinyls and then to an actual three-dimensional intangible car, it's mind-blowing, and it's, you know, it's massive. It's a massive deal to me. Again, I'm CT, art director at Xtreme Xperience. Hope you enjoy the lead cars. Hope you see them at track. Hope to see you at track.
You ain't seen nothing yet. Walk that wire, start that fire, burn it down. Oh, yeah. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Hey, I'm CT, art director here at Xtreme Xperience. Were you going to ask me any questions or like?
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Hellcat Charger lead cars. Hey, I'm CT, art director here at Xtreme Xperience. I mean, it has to be in the right order though, right? Hey, I'm CT, graphic designer. Damn, see, here we go. For the highlight reel.